Do you know how to navigate JFK Airport Terminal 4? It's massive, and there are definitely things you should know. In this video, I'm going to share with you how to navigate through Terminal 4 to catch your flight, what to be aware of, and what to avoid. And it's going to make your airport experience a breeze. I'm Jeffrey Gard, and this is The Whole Traveler. Before we get started, if you found this video helpful, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you. Travel stress can have a huge negative impact on your vacation, and airport stress is one of the worst forms of it. Trust me, I know. Don't let a bad airport experience ruin your vacation. JFK Terminal 4 is one of the busiest airports in North America and is notorious for not being easy to navigate. Here's what you need to know. Here are the 5 things about JFK Terminal 4 we're going to cover. Number 1, the entrance. Once you're in, here's what you do. Number 2, check-in, tips that will save you time. Number 3, restrooms and other spaces. Knowing where these are will definitely make your life easier. Number 4, security, how to get through it in the right way. And number 5, concourse experience, the do's and don'ts after you clear security. Let's get started. All right, here's a sketch map of JFK Terminal 4 that outlines what you need to know. We're going to focus on each section in detail, so don't worry if you feel overwhelmed right now. We're going to go over everything in detail, and trust, you will feel 1000% confident after this video. There's 4 areas to know first. First is the entrance, second, check-in rows, third, the restrooms and contemplation rooms, and fourth, security. Let's start with the entrance. So everything else has been grayed out on the map. Just focus your eye towards the bottom. That's the entrance area. The departures check-in section of Terminal 4 is on the very top floor, which is also floor 4. Now try saying that 5 times, floor 4. If you are coming by public transport, look for the signage that will guide you to the escalators or elevators and take those puppies up to the very top. If you're being dropped off by car or shuttle bus, make sure to follow the signage to departures check-in for Terminal 4. It doesn't matter which entrance you use, just pick one because I'm going to show you what to do next. All right, here's a video of me being dropped off at the Terminal 4 entrance. Again, it doesn't matter which one you come into, just go in and make sure you arrive at least 3 hours in advance for international flights. So we come inside and it will be completely normal for you to freeze and say something like, oh my God, this place is huge. Where the F do I go next? Here's what you do next. Pause, take a deep breath, and look for 2 things. First, if you or a travel partner has mobility issues, there are wheelchair stations that are going to be sandwiched in between the entrances. So look directly to your right or left and walk to that signage. Second, if that's not you, immediately identify the numbers in the yellow blocks. They are also known as check-in rows. They work just like grocery store aisles. In between the rows are end caps with information. You're going to want to walk towards those. Special note, if you're flying Delta, just go to Checkin Row 2. That's where Delta is located. They have anchor stations there. Most of the other airlines do not have permanent anchor rows or dedicated rows, so you want to definitely make sure to check the information signs to know which row your airline is checked into. Here's an example of what a wheelchair assistance station looks like. They have personnel who will assist you through your journey to getting you checked in and boarded. Here's an example of an end-cap information screen. This one is between check-in rows 5 and 6. Like I mentioned before, the airlines using check-in rows 3 through 9 can fluctuate. All the screens are digital, so they can easily change out airline graphics. Using these info screens will save you so much time and effort. The screen shows you the destination city, the air flight number, the departure time, its status, and most critical of all, the check-in row. Once you know the row, all you have to do is walk and find it, just like walking through a grocery store. Just find the right aisle. One more thing. Have a look at the bottom of the screen. Do you see the security information, that green bar? It tells you the wait time for general security. That can be extremely helpful to know as well. So like I mentioned before, Delta pretty much owns check-in rows 1 and 2. Check-in row 1 is for their first class Sky One check-ins and other SkyTeam priority members like Aeromexico, KLM, and Virgin's upper class. Most of the check-in rows will have a mix of self-check-in kiosks with gate agents who are there to help you. If you're not first class, using a kiosk will make your life so much quicker and easier. I highly recommend using the self-check-in kiosk. This is what check-in row 1 looks like. It's at the far end and clearly lists who's welcome to use this service. So it's going to just basically be the SkyTeam members first class. Please note that LATAM is not a SkyTeam member, but it participates in code sharing with Delta. So for LATAM business class or first class tickets, you got to wait until the LATAM check-in row opens, which is usually row 6. Here's an example of LATAM's Checkin Row. At the making of this video, it was located in row 6 and only opened at 3 hours before their first flight. There were 2 dedicated lines for priority tickets and 1 general line. This is an example of where it pays to use the self-check-in kiosks because the general line was huge before the check-in row even opened. With self-check-in kiosks, you really can do it all. Get your boarding passes along with your baggage tags and then send your baggage to the transfer station. That's in that same location. The lines are minimal and they go fast, and staff is available there to assist you. So once you have your boarding pass and your luggage checked, did you know that you can also spend time in a chapel space? There are 3 non-denominational spaces for contemplation or prayer. If you are super stressed and you have the time, it can be a great place to relax and relieve some anxiety. It's also a great place to chill if you find yourself early and your airline hasn't opened their check-in process yet. There are also restrooms in T4, sandwiched in between the check-in rows at the other end, right by security. You don't need to check in to use them. Simply walk right down the aisle to the end, and they'll be in between rows 5 and 6 for women and in between rows 3 and 4 for men. The chapels are tucked away in the far back towards row 9. It's also going to be where you will send your oversized or irregular sized baggage. For that, follow the instructions your airline gives you when you check it in. Next, let's talk about the security lines. At Terminal 4, you have 4 different lines. Knowing which one to use can save you a lot of time and a lot of stress. I got into the wrong line, and I'm telling you from personal experience, pick the right line. This is probably the most stressful part of the check-in boarding process, in my opinion. The 4 lines are the general line, the clear passengers line, the TSA pre-check-in line, the first class line. We'll talk about each one. Also remember, during holiday periods, the general line can have an excess of 1-hour wait times. So you definitely want to be certain that you're at the airport at least 3 hours before your flight. The last thing you want to have to do is beg people to let you through because you're about to miss your flight. Also, don't expect security or airport personnel to help you cut the line either, because they won't. The most important thing to know is which line to use. The general area in the security realm is very crowded and the signs are not clearly marked. Fortunately, there are line attendants, and what you want to do is you want to ask them where a specific line is, like where's the TSA pre-check line? Where's the first class line? You do not want to ask them, where should I go? Because they will most likely put you in the general line, which is what they did to me despite having a first class ticket. So the first class line is also called the Delta Sky Priority Check-in, and it's for all first class, business class, upper class folks who have a ticket. It doesn't matter if you're with Sky Team or not, you can use it regardless. It's at the very end near row 1, and it's going to be the fastest line. You do have to remove your shoes, and you might also have to account for folks who have mobility issues. They may also be put in that line as well, but even so, it's still going to be the fastest by far. Second fastest line is the TSA pre-check. This is probably going to be a really good line to use if you have it. You're dealing with seasoned travelers who know how to fly, so the line is going to move super fast. The only downside is that it can take upwards of a year to actually get your TSA pre-check clearance. The third line is going to be the clear line, which has become super popular. Just make sure you give it a check before you go to that line over the general, because sometimes the clear can actually be longer than the general. But in T4, it's doubtful. The clear was moving at a super brisk pace when we were there, so I would recommend clear over general. If you don't have clear, TSA pre-check, or first class, you're going to have to wait in the general line. My suggestion is have patience, super patience, and be friendly. That line's going to move slow. But you know what? If you have some earbuds, listen to some music, and if you have access to a Kindle or an ebook, think about reading a good, juicy book. I don't recommend news, as news can be really upsetting and put you even in a more foul mood than you already are, having to wait in a long, slow line. So yeah, Kindle, good music. Going through TSA security, you definitely need to know the rules about what's allowed and what's not allowed. Playing stupid or being ignorant is not an excuse, and TSA will absolutely come down hard on you if you violate their guidelines. You don't want to mess with these folks. Depending on the infraction, you could face severe consequences, like being put on a no-fly list, being arrested, or being fined thousands of dollars. And no, I'm not talking about, oh my God, I brought a tube of cream over 3 ounces. They'll just make you throw that away. I'm talking about bringing hazardous materials, live exotic animals, weapons, firearms, ammunition, and/or recreational or controlled drugs. Remember, marijuana is illegal at the federal level. And so if you also have controlled prescriptions like Vicodin, make sure that there's a script on the bottle or that you have a doctor's note. If you're in doubt, check their website, which you can scan here. I definitely recommend that you read through it and familiarize yourself with the rules. Once you've passed security, congratulations! The most stressful part is over and you can now go to your gate. Terminal 4 is shaped like a rectangular box with 2 tentacles coming out from opposite ends. Those tentacles are the concourses A and B. If your ticket shows B and a number, you're in Concourse B, and if it shows gate and a number, you're in gate A and a number, you're in Concourse A. The 2 concourses are separated far apart, so I highly recommend sticking to your concourse where your gate's located. Fortunately, for both ends, there's plenty to do. If you're premier class, your lounge will be located in the appropriate concourse that matches your gate. Delta also has lounges in both A and B, and they're both amazing, so fear not. The Amex Centurion Lounge is straddled right in the middle as you exit security, so it's equidistant from Concourse A and Concourse B. I have other videos in the Amex Lounge and the Delta Sky Club B Lounge if you want more information on those. And like I mentioned, in both concourses, there's some great shopping and eating, both of which are enjoyable ways to pass the time. Just make sure to double check your boarding time, which is often 45 minutes to an hour before your departure time. Don't get caught short on that. All right, we're coming to an end. If you want to learn more, you can always visit the JFK website. They have loads of helpful information about parking, tracking your flight, wait times, walk to gates, etc. I hope you found this helpful. I also have videos if you want to learn more about the T4 lounges, the Amex Centurion Lounge or Delta's Sky Club in Concourse B. As always, if you found this valuable, please support the platform by liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting. Yay! Thanks, and have a wonderful vacation.